Hey folks, welcome back to the Lone Pine Tarot, or of course, welcome to Lone Pine Tarot for the very first time if you're brand new here. Thank you so much for joining me today for our pick a card reading on the topic of the next 3 months ahead, but very specifically, this 3 months ahead reading is special because we're going to be looking at almost 3 different mini readings in one. So the first one will be about career and finances for your next 3 months. Then we'll talk about your relationships, and then at the very end, the third mini reading will be kind of a mystery topic. We'll let it be up to Spirit to guide us to see what Spirit wants to tell you about the 3 months ahead. So it could be basically any other area of your life that it wants to give you a little bit of a heads up about. So without further ado, let us pick our pile leaders to choose our 3 month ahead readings with. So calling on Spirit, of course, thank you so much. Please help guide us to the right cards for them to pick their pile leaders with and their messages with today. Thank you. Okay, there's pile 1. There's pile 2. And for pile 3 today, I'm feeling this one back here. All right, and let's unveil your pile leaders to choose your messages with. So for pile 1 today, over here on the left, your pile leader is the Founder with the element of fire. And the keywords are foundations and community. There we go. For pile 2 today, here in the middle, your pile leader is the Queen, also with the element of fire, but the keywords are determination and sacrifice. And last but not least, for our wonderful pile number 3 over here on the right. Oopsie, sorry, being a bit of a perfectionist there. Pile 3, your leader today is the Herald with the element of water, small regrets, and longing. Okay, let's make those nice and neat. And of course, as I always say, you're welcome to pause on this part of the reading if you need more time to decide what pile you would like read for you. If you're brand new to pick a card readings, I have just a little mini meditation I like to guide us through. So take in a deep cleansing breath. Imagine you're breathing in light as you do so, and close your eyes, then hold it for just a few moments. And then when you breathe it back out again and open your eyes, where are they drawn to first? What feels right in your gut? And that is the pile I recommend that you choose for your reading today. But whatever your method, you can drop down to the description box below or the top pinned comment beneath the reading. Find the timestamp there for your pile, and I'll see you in a little chat about your 3 months ahead in those 3 different categories we discussed. Toodaloo. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 1. Welcome today to your pick a card reading about your 3 months ahead in the 3 different categories we discussed: career, finances, relationships, and a mystery topic at the end. And of course, as you can recall, the pile that you were drawn to was the beautiful fire element, the Founder, with the keywords of foundation and community. So to begin the reading, we're going to first talk about your career and finances. So using Lenormand to guide us, using the fish, as that's what that represents in Lenormand, is our career and money and things like that. We'll set that up here. And we'll begin with tarot, and then we'll pull some oracle cards of advice for you as well. So tapping into Spirit today, please tell us a little bit more about the financial career outlook for pile number 1 for the next 3 months, please. Thank you. Okay, so we have Temperance reversed as the inciting incident, or very first card. There you go, pile 1, Temperance reversed. Let's draw the other cards. And I feel like that one is number 5. Okay, so Temperance reversed. Then we have the Hermit, very interesting, another major arcana card. I get the feeling, because of so many major arcana cards right off the bat, pile 1, your career and finances in the next 3 months are going to be kind of pivotal, kind of an important tentpole moment, as I would call it. We also have the Knight of Wands, beautiful, as the heart of the matter, which speaks of things being done with speed, especially in terms of the realm of our ambitions, our passions, our willpower, things like that. The Nine of Swords. Okay, so a little bit of anxiety about something. We'll talk more about that later after we pull every single card. And last but not least, we have the Six of Swords. What an interesting outcome card, pile 1. Okay, so right off the bat, when it comes to the next 3 months in terms of finances and career, you're beginning a little bit imbalanced. I don't know if right at the time that you're viewing this, like maybe there's been a little bit of a scare in terms of career or finances. You know, maybe there's been kind of a big purchase you had to do out of nowhere, like perhaps maybe something broke down, you had to repair it, something like that. Or, you know, maybe things have been kind of shaky at work. Just for an example, maybe you've been hearing like about layoffs, or it's just kind of imbalanced in general. Maybe there's an imbalance with temperance reversed as in literal work-life balance. Like, maybe you've had to be really nose to the grindstone at work lately and you're kind of burning out and you're like, oh man, like I hope this kind of calms down a little bit within the next few months. So that's what Spirit is really highlighting here with beginning with temperance reversed. Then we have the Hermit. We're moving into a time of solitude, a time of being alone, a time of introspection. So if you have been having a lot of stresses around, say, like group projects lately or money-related problems regarding like other people or groups of people involved, that's a really good sign, pile 1. That means it's like you're moving away from groups, you're moving away from group problems in terms of career and finances, and you're kind of going within a little bit more. You'll have more time to think, and especially if you've been really burnt out and stressed, like temperance reverse kind of seems to indicate, I think that means you're going to have more calm downtime. Now, that does not mean that it is not, productive downtime, pile 1, because you have the Knight of Wands upright as the heart of the matter card, as I like to call the central card, right? The heart of the matter is taking action with our passions. So yes, it's introspective, it's slowing down a little bit, but you're still going very fast in terms of going ahead with your goals, especially because the Knight of Wands is someone who takes action regarding the things that they're ambitious about. So I almost kind of see a switch into more personal projects is what I'm hearing, and going full speed ahead on those. Maybe that's part of what's been stressing you out, is you've had to focus so much on other people's problems lately with money or career that now when this opens up, you'll have that breath of relief. Okay, now I have room and I have time in my schedule to focus on what I want to take action on. Okay, now there is a little bit of anxiety here. I did mention that when it first popped out. We have the Nine of Swords, right? Pile 1. The Knight of Swords means anxiety. It means we're a little bit stressed about something. Maybe kind of something is keeping us up at night. Sometimes it can represent like a nightmare card. So there is something that might kind of make you worried in the next 3 months regarding your career or finances. However, with the outcome being the Six of Swords, the Six of Swords tends to represent moving forward, moving away from something, moving to better pastures. It tends to be, especially upright, it's a positive card. It's like physically moving away from something. So, for example, like maybe that part of that personal project is you wanting to move to a new job, in which case that's a really good sign. Yes, there's a little bout of anxiety, but there is that move there as the outcome, or you're wanting to move away from a certain department at your job, same thing. You're going to move away from it the way that you want, okay? In either case, though, however your particular situation plays out, you're moving away from worries. Like the Six of Swords is moving away from the anxiety of the Nine of Swords, okay? So things would kind of, it seems like we'll right a little bit of the imbalance that we have at the very beginning of the 3-month span. After some period of introspection, a little bit of maybe some worries and anxiety, and then whoosh, we move forward. It's like things can flow again. So, you know, it's funny, you didn't get any Pentacles cards, pile 1, and Pentacles and Tarot tend to represent money and career and finances, things like that. So the fact that you didn't get any tells me that this isn't really going to be like money focused, and that might be a good thing, because maybe you've been having a lot of financial problems recently, and that sounds like, oh, it's a breath of fresh air. Okay, hearing, oh, I don't have to worry about money so much in the next 3 months. Or maybe it's maybe a little bit depending on your situation. You're kind of worried about, oh, I'm not seeing any forecasts for more money. But even so, I'm not seeing anything bad in terms of money either. So it seems like a pretty stable time. Lots of introspection, not too much movement until the very end. But it's good movement when it does happen there after that time of anxiety. Okay, and then let's also pull some advice cards for the career part, finances part. We're going to pull Ask Your Guides Oracle and a Surrender card. So let's grab those first. So any advice towards career and finances in the next 3 months for pile 1? Thank you, Spirit. There we go. Let's unveil those. Okay, so in terms of advice, we have limitation, number 44, and then we have the power of surrender. Look at that, surrender stress. What did I tell you, pile 1? I was like, I feel like things are going to slow down. You're going to have more time for yourself, especially if your job, like if you're not currently retired, has been very, very busy, right? And I'll just read what this says. Take a few deep breaths and exhale the tension you've built up in your body. Let the stress go as you come back to your center. So we also, there's kind of a semi-related message with limitation too. Not only is it going to be a time of less stress here in the next 3 months with your finances and career, but it's also a time of learning your limitations. And it even kind of looks like an introspective position she's taking here, like we saw with the hermit going within. Okay, so really expect a lot more alone time. Expect a lot more about understanding your limitations and things kind of being pulled back. I get the feeling intuitively, pile 1, that maybe it feels like there is no limit to the amount of stresses that keep piling on your back right now with your career and finances, but it's like these next 3 months, whoosh, then the limitation comes in, there's a ceiling and it hits that limit, and then you don't have to worry about it going beyond that again in terms of stress, and things will finally peel back and settle down. Okay? So, that was your career for the next months. We're moving pretty fast here because we do have 3 different categories to get to. Very beautiful. Let's shuffle the tarot cards, put these back over here. We're going to move to relationships. Now, this is the tree in Lenormand that technically represents family, but I wanted to incorporate both family and just like relationships in general. So I went with the tree. Let's do that. So let's shuffle your tarot cards and see more about what's going on. And then the few that we had from your last spread. Excuse me if I clear my voice. Once again, this time of year I get a lot of allergies, so I apologize if my voice ever is kind of scratchy. Oopsie, there we go. That was quite the messy way of shuffling, but we'll give it another good shuffle here, pile 1. Okay, Spirit, for the next 3 months, relationships with family or partners or platonic friends. Thank you. And I feel, actually, the very back one will take pile 1. Okay, relationships in the next 3 months. 9 of Pentacles reversed. Okay, interesting card is the inciting incident. We'll talk about that in a second. 6 of Cups reversed. Okay, so maybe a little bit of things brewing with family. Don't panic yet. We'll talk about it. But I get the feeling, pile 1, maybe especially because this is like the beginning of the next 3-month phase here with relationships, there's already something that you haven't been satisfied with in terms of your relationships, especially with family. And then we have, okay, Strength reversed is the heart of the matter, needing to gather courage. We have the 3 of Cups, okay, a group of people, which is funny because your founder, we already had kind of a group aspect of your career and finances, and then your founder kind of is like an overall theme and how I incorporate this into the reading, pile 1. So community tends to be an overarching theme here, especially now that you also got the 3 of Cups, which also means community or a group of people. And then there's Temperance again, reversed again, but this time is the outcome instead of the beginning. Okay, so pile 1. In terms of your relationships in the next 3 months, like I said, at the very beginning, there's a little bit of a dissatisfaction that I think you're probably already feeling because this is like the inciting incident. Like this is right now. The 9 of Pentacles reversed tends to represent a time where we feel like we're not extracting the fruits of our labor out of something. Okay, like this person, he's been growing this melon patch upright. It would be like, oh, he put so much work into it. He gets all the melons that he planted. But reversed, it's a bad crop from all this effort we put in, and especially being next to the 6 of Cups reversed, pile 1, that tends to mean our past. It can also mean siblings or our family. So I do see maybe there's a little bit of family feud kind of leading into the next 3 months, but I think you already are aware of it because this is the beginning. All right. Now, the heart of the matter is the Strength card reversed. That means there's something really brewing around a lack of strength or a lack of courage is another way to put that card that is causing some of these issues. I think maybe there's a fear to speak up about something, or like someone else in your family or relationships, your social circle, whatever. They're kind of afraid to speak up about something. It's like no one has the willpower to say something that needs to like start moving something ahead, because it might be uncomfortable. It might be something that no one really wants to bring up. Maybe it's like, especially with the Six of Cups reversed, it's like maybe things from the past, nobody, like old business no one wants to bring up, but it's hard to move forward without bringing it up. That's kind of what I'm seeing intuitively here as the main thing driving some of this conflict with relationships in the next 3 months. You do have a social event popping up here. That's what the Three of Cups means. It either means like a gathering or a group of people. And I think maybe it's something you already know about. It's something maybe you've been planning on. It could be like a holiday of some sort. Like I know at the time this reading will go up, Easter is coming up very, very soon. For those of you who celebrate Easter, just as one example. But, depending on your religious beliefs and culture, it might be a different holiday, right? Or a different social gathering. It might not even be a holiday at all. And I think that's where this kind of comes to a head. So it's kind of like Spirit is really honing down on this one event with these things kind of leading up to it. And the outcome is imbalance. Okay, so unfortunately, pile 1, and I want to be honest, I don't want to sugarcoat things, I want to be a genuine tarot reader. This isn't the best outcome for relationships in the next 3 months because there's an imbalance. Now, I don't want to say that's horrible, though. It's not like we don't have a tower moment here. Like, you didn't get the tower card, which would have been like, oh, this is a disaster, right? But things are still kind of out of balance. So I don't really see this like 100% resolving, but it is beginning some movement in that direction towards realizing, oh, there is an imbalance here that needs to be fixed. Okay, it could be maybe in a social group that you're in, there's been an imbalance of labor, or in your family there's been an imbalance of labor, hence why the Nine of Pentacles came out first. Like, maybe you're putting a lot of effort into something, but no one else in this particular group is. And so you're like, oh man, there's an imbalance here, and I feel like nobody's supporting me. I feel like nobody's really, helping me. And it kind of comes to a head at that social gathering. And it kind of just brings it to light. And that's the thing, is that as uncomfortable as it is, though, pile 1, things need to be brought to light so that they can be addressed, right? So just keep an eye out for that. I don't see it as something really awful. So don't run away from the reading thinking, oh my God, there's going to be a big fallout and a fight. It's just something that needs to be brought forward. Something that needs to be discussed that might not be the happiest thing brought up at a social gathering that takes courage to say, that will highlight an imbalance, and that way it can be fixed in the future after those 3 months, okay? So also that's an indication where if you're at a social gathering and you're afraid to say something that's really been bothering you, of course say it politely, right? And you know that, pile 1. But be brave enough to say it. Say, hey, I feel like I'm the only one pulling all the weight. Or say, hey, this thing really kind of bothered me and I wanted to bring it up and talk about it maturely, right? Obviously you know your audience at that particular social gathering better than I do. You know what way to word it to people, but be brave. That's what Strength Reversed means, is it's a lot of challenges in these next 3 months in your relationships regarding being courageous enough to say things, courageous enough to try things with relationships, okay? Now, let's also pull, of course, your... excuse my voice again. Your oracle cards for the advice. We'll get some further pieces of advice here from Spirit about your... Okay, that was quite fast. We'll take that one because that's the one that popped out. And then we also will have a surrender card. Just like we did for the career finances. Okay, well, I already think I know which one. It was already quite far out. It was like, pick me. Okay, so pile 1, advice in terms of your relationships. We have from surrender to play. Take a break from overthinking a goal. Do something fun. Play is a time of recreation and rejuvenation. So, although you are being encouraged to be courageous about something, bring something up that's been bothering you about the past, and especially bothering you about in terms of the effort you're putting into something, also, maybe think about doing things a little bit more lighthearted, okay? Because we do have surrender to play. As hard as it might also be useful to try to I guess that's how I would describe it. And I'm sorry I'm repeating, but be lighthearted about it, pile 1. Okay, and also when things get really emotionally heavy, if they do, don't be afraid to take some time to play when you can, okay? De-stress. Walk away from it a little bit, okay? Do something that you enjoy doing that's fun, because that will help you as well, especially in terms of, the thinking around this situation and the de-stressing from these situations. And it could even be that kind of indicates that the social event is something where, people are playing. Like, I don't know, for some reason, bowling is coming to mind for me. Like, oh, you're going out bowling with a group of people or something. But of course, that might be different for every single one of you. And then your other advice card is self-love. Beautiful. Self-love. So that's another piece of advice for your relationships in the next few months here, pile 1. Please remember to love yourself. Okay, please remember, yes, to play, but also take care of yourself, cherish yourself, honor yourself, value yourself in your relationships. Okay, I think maybe that, especially because part of the issues might be like you're feeling like you're kind of walked over, or like things from the past just weren't addressed and you want them to be addressed because it's been bothering you. When times get tough and you're trying to muster your courage to bring things up or to fix problems, remember the reason why you're doing it, or at least one reason to think of why you're doing it is because you say, I love myself and I value this closure or this healing for myself. Okay, same thing with play. Play can also help bring healing when it helps us de-stress from things. Okay, so just remember to keep it lighthearted as much as you can. Take time to play things that are fun, and then remember always self-love in terms of your relationships. Okay, wham bam, let's keep going. Like I said, going real fast here. Next, we are going to move to the mystery topic. We'll see what area of your life this has to do with. And we're using the clover because that means luck in Lenormand, as it does in most areas of life, the lucky clover. So let's grab those tarot cards as we did before. Kind of like this format of reading. It's fun just to do 3 mini readings in one, Okay, so Spirit, for my wonderful pile 1, what do you want to talk to them about otherwise regarding the next 3 months? Anything you really want to bring to their attention? Thank you. Let's see what they say. Okay, I'm actually going to take the back one. I have some bottom deck energy there. 3, 4, and 5. Okay, let's see what mystery topic Spirit wants to bring up to you, pile 1. Also my favorite part of the reading because it's a mystery to solve. The King of Swords reversed. Okay, something to do with either education, or it could also mean knowledge, or it could also mean communication in some way. We'll see what else pops out. We've got the Ace of Wands reversed. Okay. Feeling like we lack spark in some area. Feeling like we need a little bit more vavoom with something. Okay. 5 of Swords reversed. A conflict. Okay. So this might be a little bit more about the relationship part of the reading. It might be kind of an extension, but we'll see. And then, okay, we've got the 6 of Cups, but upright this time. Yes, okay, so pile 1, your mystery topic today is actually an extension of the relationship part of the reading, and I think that's because Spirit probably wants to give you a little bit more advice in this area, because that might be kind of a main focus for the next 3 months. And then we have, okay, the Empress reversed. Interesting. So, yes. Communication, lack of spark, conflict of some sort. Something to do with the past and family, and at the very end is the outcome. We've got the Empress reversed, which is a lack of nurturing. Could also mean issues with, I don't know if maybe the issue you've been having with is with your mother specifically, pile 1, because an Empress reversed can represent issues with our mother, because that is the motherhood card or the feminine energy card. But looking at it overall, yes, extension of the relationship reading for sure. Okay, so they're giving you a little bit of a warning when that pops up in the next 3 months here, pile 1. This kind of the relationship stuff we've been talking about. I think there's someone that might be a little bit of an obstacle because the inciting incident is a King of Swords reversed, and in this particular spread, I'm feeling called to read that as a person, as we often do with court cards. I kind of switch back and forth between reading it as a person and as a situation. I'm feeling like as a person this time. There's someone who says something that isn't like the nicest thing. Or it's like they say, they're known for not being very eloquent with their tongue or careful with their tongue and the way that they communicate things. Okay, maybe that's why this issue has been popped up before in this family or like social group. Okay, maybe this person often causes conflict and that's kind of what you want to bring up. You know, of course, see how that resonates with your particular situation. And it's something where it like kind of takes either the wind out of your sails, or it's like something that it sparks a little bit of like a fire in a negative way that causes a conflict because of the heart of the matter being the Five of Swords reversed, which is usually a verbal fight of some sort that doesn't necessarily feel good, okay? Because it's reversed, it's kind of in a negative way, right? However, sometimes it can represent overcoming that conflict, like we talked about with some of the advice from the other part of the reading, okay? And I think what Spirit wants to reassure you about is that even though this looks negative on the surface, I understand that. Now we have the Six of Cups upright. Remember, it was reversed before. That was the family stuff that was negative, with it being reversed in the relationship part of your reading. Turned upright. As much as this conflict might seem scary, because nobody likes conflict, right, pile one? It turns the problems right side up, the family and past related things that have been bothering you. And I think that's when you'll need to really use that self-love, because like I said, the Empress might represent reverse, like issues with a mother figure, right? But it can also represent nurturing in general and needing to nurture ourselves more in the reversal position, okay? So after that happens and the things get righted, please take time for yourself to nurture yourself. Okay, it might also represent that maybe the issues with the mother will be fixed here. Now, it is technically reversed still, so I don't think everything will be completely resolved with this if it is a mother for you, for an example, pile one. But it does at least alleviate some of the trauma from the past or the baggage from the past there. So let's end the reading here with some final advice cards for the next 3 months, same decks that we've been using. Okay, first up we have prayer, guardian angel. Okay, so angels, they especially want to, excuse me, pile one, reassure you that your guardian angels are very close in these next 3 months, especially around this particular situation. You're not alone. You have guardian angels around you. I mean, you always do, but they're especially, that card having come out, they're around to answer prayers and help you when you need to, especially when you feel like you need to be protected more in this next 3 months, okay? So just remember to maybe meditate and connect with guardian angels a little bit more in these next 3 months, things like that. And also know that they are paying attention to your prayers. That's why prayer came out. They've heard your prayer, okay? And then we have surrender to inner peace. Look at that. Cultivate inner peace on a daily basis in quiet meditative moments, speaking of meditation. Focus on the stillness within and enjoy this inner refuge. Others will feel your good vibes too, and your life will flow more easily. So that's, if I had to really summarize the theme of the next 3 months for you, pile three, it's finding a place of greater peace in terms of your relationships and in terms of your career and finances. Like, it's just everything kind of seems like it revolved around that temperance of getting back to balance, getting back to more peaceful times after what kind of seems to have been like more tumultuous and conflict heavy, okay? Surrender to inner peace. Okay, remember to take those times and moments for yourself. I won't repeat that too ad nauseum because we talked about that with the self-love and the play thing, right? But focus on peace in the next 3 months, okay? What brings you most peace and what brings most peace to the situations at hand? When in doubt and you're wanting advice on what to do, focus on peace as your North Star. Inner peace specifically. Okay, so that was your reading for the next 3 months ahead, pile one. I hope it was helpful. I hope it resonated, or of course, I guess, as the next 3 months occur, you'll find out if it resonates or not. But if you did like the video, please like it the video itself. Please comment down below. Please subscribe to Lone Pine Tarot if you have not done so yet, as that just helps me out a little bit, which helps me provide more readings for both you and others in the future. And as is our tradition on the channel, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, Pile 1. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 2. Welcome today to your pick a card reading about the next 3 months ahead regarding career, finances, relationships, and the mystery topic at the end. And of course, as you can recall, the pile leader you chose was the very beautiful Queen, so you're my Queen pile today. Let's begin by putting your pile leader off to the left to start, and we're going to begin with career and finances as our first topic. So using Lenormand to guide the topic, because fish in Lenormand represents business and money. Let's put that up there first and draw your tarot cards to begin. So, connecting with Spirit for the highest best good of pile 2 today. Can you tell us more about the next 3 months ahead for their career and finances? Thank you. Okay, so very beginning, we first card have the 5 of Swords reversed. So it seems like you're maybe moving from a time of conflict regarding career and finances, pile 2. I don't know if recently you have had some sort of money issues or a fight at work, maybe some arguments in that area. Let's draw your other cards, though, of course, to glean more details about the 3 months ahead in this area. Okay. Second card is Page of Swords reversed. Okay, we'll talk more about each card later in a second here. Let's get them all on the table. The Moon reversed is the heart of the matter. Beautiful. Well, we're dispelling illusions, I can tell you that. Things are going to become more clear, I promise. Beautiful, especially with the Queen of Swords right after that pile, too. If you've been really confused regarding career and finances and you've been searching for answers, the next 3 months are going to be, at least so far, pretty great for you in this area. And then we have Justice as the outcome. Okay, so I'll tell you this, pile 2. Next 3 months for your career, finances, things like that. You're beginning in kind of a messy place, and I think you already know that because this is kind of like what's going on now, starting forward for the 3 months ahead. You have the 5 of Swords reversed, and as I said before at the beginning, that represents you've been in some sort of conflict with career and finances, be it, like I said, maybe an argument in that area, like at work, or with money. Or maybe you've been kind of having some sort of struggle in terms of like trying to get money. Like maybe there's been some communication issues regarding that. Or it's like people aren't getting you, like you're not getting paid the right way or at the time that you're supposed to. Something along those lines. Of course, take it as it resonates for your particular situation. And then you kind of move into an area of confusion. We have the Page of Swords reversed. And a Page of Swords reversed, pile 2, is someone that's trying to figure out something in terms of logic or in terms of what they want to say, but they're having a hard time because of the reversal energy of that particular card in your spread. They're having a hard time figuring out, what do I do next logically? I am completely confused. But then the beauty here, pile 2, is you have the Moon reversed in the middle, and what that represents, especially as the Heart of the Matter card, is an overall theme in your career and finances of illusions being broken. That confusion is going to clear. You're going to get answers. Excuse me, my voice is kind of scritchy. Whew, allergies, right? You're going to get answers that you need that break the illusions that are confusing you at the very beginning here. So if you've been looking for clarity in terms of career or finances, whatever that might mean for you, the next 3 months are going to be fantastic in getting answers. And look at all these swords too, pile 2. I mean, not only do you have a sword in your Queen card, your pile leader, 5 of Swords, Page of Swords, the Moon doesn't have one, but then you have the Queen of Swords, and Justice has a sword itself as well, okay? So a lot of air energy, and air in tarot tends to represent the mind and communication, thinking logically about things, and the beauty of the illusion being broken with the Queen of Swords right after that Moon is you're going to be almost like embodying the energy of the Queen of Swords after that illusion is dispelled and things become clear. And a Queen of Swords is someone who knows exactly what they need to do and exactly where they need to go. She's very sharp. She's very smart. Okay, some people might even call her kind of ruthless, which is not I guess that's kind of a negative connotation, but I see it more positively for you, Pile 2, where You just know exactly where you need to go. And the beauty is that it leads to justice as the outcome, okay? So especially if things have maybe been unfair, maybe if you've been having some legal problems regarding career or finances recently, justice will be served in the end because of your intellect and your strength in these areas after this illusion is dispelled and things become clear, okay? And it's funny, too, because, you know, your pile leader is the queen, right? And then you've got the Queen of Swords, okay? So it's very queen energy as well. You know, regal, powerful, someone who knows exactly what they need to do, okay? Just like the determination, like your queen says here. Determination is the keyword. So, pretty straightforward pile, too. Not too much to explain with your career and finances. So in terms of if you're looking like just a general answer, you know, it's interesting. You don't have any Pentacles cards, and those tend to represent career and like financial related things, money related things in tarot. So I would say, you know, finances stay kind of stable. I'm not seeing anything about money specifically in terms of like Pentacles being an indicator, right? It's more of a period of time with your career and finances where it's about mental things rather than physical things. It's figuring out things, okay? Moving towards justice, overcoming these conflicts that have been plaguing you at the very beginning, okay? Beautiful. Let's draw some final advice cards for this particular section of the reading, career and finances. Let's see what pops out. Okay, that one for sure. We've got survival. Look at that. Which is interesting because we have the, it kind of reminds me of the determination of the queen of your pile leader, but we've got survival. So yes, for sure. It's interesting, she's running from flames. It's like running from that conflict we talked about, but she's getting to a better place here. There's a little bit of a sacrifice, though. She's got that cut on her cheek, just like sacrifice is talked about in your queen card pile, too. But you'll make it. Okay, it might not be the easiest path, but you're going to make it. You're going to survive. It's going to be fine. So especially if you've been having financial concerns and you're wondering about like the next 3 months, like, oh God, am I going to stay afloat? Yes, you're going to stay afloat. You're going to be fine. Okay, let's look at your surrender card too. In fact, you're getting to a better place, it looks like to me. Surrender to passion. What an interesting card for career and finances when everything so far has been more about like, you know, excuse me, survival and like thinking things through. But it says, get out of your head and feel the fire in your belly. Focus on people or activities that ignite your passion and let it flow. So that's another piece of advice here, pile two, in terms of your career and finances. Interesting that, you know, we talk about fire with the passion card. Feel the fire in your belly, and you're running from, or at least this figure is running from fire in the survival card. You know, it almost makes me think that maybe there's something that you're passionate about that you've been kind of running away from that would be really good in the next 3 months to actually run towards. I feel like there's something that you could do that might be lucrative if you wanted to turn it into a business of some sort, that the next 3 months would be a really good, like, it's a good forecast for turning it into a business, right? But in any case, follow your passions when it comes to career and finances in the next 3 months. It would be a really good direction for you to take, okay? What ignites that fire in your belly that card mentions, okay? And follow that creativity, follow that fire to guide you. And it's interesting, too, because your queen, that element is fire. So fire is also just a general, really good element to kind of embody in a lot of the next 3 months for you. Okay? So follow your passions. You'll survive. Things that seems to be, they'll be stable, and they're going to get even more stable. And you're going to move towards justice, away from conflict after those illusions are dispelled. And things become all the more clearer. So, like I said, going quite fast with 3 different mini readings in one. Let's move on to our wonderful second section of relationships in the next 3 months. So we have the tree from Lenormand, which technically represents family, but I'm going to use it to represent family and social circles in general. Your little circle of orbit. Okay, so let's shuffle the tarot cards and get those on the table as well. Putting the ones we had from the first reading back in. Alrighty, pile 2. I kind of like these mini readings in one giant reading. It's kind of fun. So, alright, Spirit. Relationships, next 3 months. Pile 2, thank you. There we go. Okay. So that's 1, We have the Eight of Cups reversed, and then we have the Tower. We'll talk about those in a moment. Okay, 3, 4, and 5. Next up, we have the Three of Swords reversed. Okay. Now, everybody that's familiar with tarot, you're going to have seen that Tower, and you might have gone, oh no. But this is a really good card to get after that pile, too. So don't run away just yet, just because you saw a Tower, if you're familiar with tarot. Hear me out. Then we have the Devil reversed, also a fantastic card to get. Okay, so, lots of major arcana so far. And the Lovers. Okay, so you have a lot of major arcana. You have the Devil, you have the Tower, and you have the Lovers. I always tend to tell people this in my readings pile, too. When I see a lot of major arcana in a spread, this tends to tell me that this is kind of a pivotal moment of your life. It's going to be something with a lot more change than you're expecting, okay? Or at least it's more important to your life path than just say, you know, more regular everyday things, okay? For relationships in the next 3 months, there's something you're struggling to emotionally move away from. That's what the Eight of Cups reversed at the very beginning tells me. I don't know if you've been trying to get away from a relationship, get away from a partner of some sort, like you've, maybe you broke up, but you're still kind of stuck living together and you're like, I gotta get out of here, or, you know, maybe like, it could be like a friendship group or a friend specifically that you're trying to move away from, or it could be, you know, so like I said, sometimes the tree, you know, well, technically it means family in Lenormand, and, you know, families are also very important relationships in our lives. It could mean like maybe even a family that you're trying to move away from, okay? However, you've been having some struggles in this area because this card right here kind of represents the now, like the starting point of the next 3 months, okay? Now, I'll tell you this, like I said, a lot of people who are familiar with tarot, you'll see that Tower and go, oh no, because a Tower does technically mean, or it can mean a disaster pile too, but don't run. It can also just mean a moment of pivotal change. Yes, it's chaotic. That's the scary part of the Tower, but oftentimes the Tower falls because it wasn't built on good foundations in the first place. So what that says to me, pile 2, in terms of relationships in the next 3 months, the thing that you're having a hard time moving on from, something's going to happen and make it happen anyways. Okay, there's going to be a pivotal moment of change there with the Tower. And then the beauty of this reading is the very beautiful cards afterwards. So yes, the Tower might be, oh God, something chaotic is going on. Like, you know, maybe you have to move out faster than you expected, or, you know, something else happens that's just really surprising and it kind of just changes a lot of the status quo. But it leads to overcoming pain. That's what the Three of Swords means, and that's why it's such a positive card to get after that Tower pile too. You're overcoming pain. You're also gaining freedom. That's what the Devil reversed means. You're getting away from things that have been chaining you, things that have been binding you. And the beautiful thing is that the Lovers at the very end is an outcome. Well, it can mean 2 things. I read it both ways. So the more modern way, or at least common way of reading Lovers, is kind of what it says on the tin pile too. It means a romantic relationship, or a really, really close platonic relationship, soulmates, things like that. I also read it the more traditional way sometimes in meaning a choice of some sort, because like one of the original interpretations of the Lovers was a man choosing between 2 different potential ladies, right? And so I'll read it for both ways for you, pile 2. Okay, so actually it might be something that is really pivotal and needs to happen to overcome pain, free yourself so that you are free for a better relationship in the future, be it platonic, be it romantic. Or it could also mean it's something that's overcoming pain, freeing you up to make a choice, whereas before it feels like you were stifled. You weren't able to make a choice until this Tower comes along. So this is a Tower that I would not fear in terms of your relationships in the next 3 months. So if a Tower moment comes and there's some massive thing that is like, oh God, oh no, the rug got pulled out under my feet, what do I do? This is so chaotic. Please be reassured, pile 2, that it is happening for very, very good reasons with these 3 cards here at the end. All right, so please believe me when I say that. This is fantastic. This is a Tower moment that leads to, it's like a really, really dark night and then the dawn and the sun is just shining so bright and it's almost like, oh wow, look at all these really happy things that are happening when I thought this was going to be so scary. Okay, so something I guess that's what your relationships in the next 3 months will be like. And it's interesting because even bringing in your pile leader here, pile 2, you know, you have determination, you have sacrifice. This kind of always makes me think of the keyword of sacrifice. Yes, there's the sacrifice of a little bit of chaos, but look at what it gets you. Less pain, more freedom, and either good love or a choice of some sort that's positive. Okay. Let's, of course, also pull your advice cards here from the Oracle decks we have, using the same ones we used for your career and finances, but shuffling again, of course. Well, and you know, even when you think about fire, pile 2, right? Fire is destructive, but what does it do? It creates light. Even ashes that are left behind can make things more fertile afterwards. So, fire is a very dual element. It can create, but it can also destroy. Sometimes the destruction leads to creation, right? Just like it works out in the universe. So, don't fear the fire. Okay, let's look at your advice cards here. Now, first up, surrender. We have surrender, fear. Beautiful for relationships, because after, you know, like I said, don't fear the tower. It's going to be okay. Let go of the fearful stories you were telling yourself. Stay in the moment, focus on solutions, and celebrate every baby step forward. Okay, so one piece of advice from Spirit the next 3 months with relationships. Do not fear. Even when things seem uncertain, no, there's a path forward that's like a shining dawn after the dark. Okay, like we said, all those positive cards after the tower moment. Let go of fear in the next 3 months, okay? Don't fear. Be bold, okay? And then we've got, beautiful, look at that, ease. It's going to be a lot easier than you think, too. Number 55, ease. This card is all about going with the flow. It's almost like she has this water around her, and it's kind of ribboning around her hands. And she's not moving against it. She's moving with it. She's almost kind of dancing along with the stream, okay? There's a lot of beauty and grace in taking what life throws at you and dancing with it. Almost kind of makes me think of like a ribbon dancer, or I don't know if the technical term is for, you know, like those dancers, they have like the little ribbons that they dance around with. I think it's a ribbon dancer is a technical term, but feel free to correct me down in the comments down below if I'm wrong. But it's almost like the relationships in the next 3 months will require you to be kind of like that ribbon dancer. But you can do it. And that's why that's a piece of advice for you, pile 2. Okay, you can do it. Otherwise, why else would this have come out from Spirit, right? So where you can, try to go with the flow. Try to accept the chaos and the change. Because you know it's leading to better pastures, okay? I mean, even the fear card kind of almost looks like he's not really, well, he's kind of like he's dancing. Sort of. It's like he's walking through fire. Which does take courage, right? Even though you're walking through fire. But it can be done with grace, okay? So, just remember the positive things coming after, okay? There are brighter futures away from the place that you feel stuck now with your relationships, okay? Alright, so that was the second section of your reading, and the next section, pile 2, is all about the mystery topic. We'll see what Spirit wants to talk to you about. Now, pile 1 today had an extension of their relationship reading, so we'll see if you do the same. Maybe it's an extension of a certain type of topic, but we're using the clover, which means luck in Lenormand, to be the sort of pile leader of this particular section. So let's shuffle your tarot cards. Interesting, I just looked at my timer that I used to time my readings, and it was 11:11 right when I looked, so that sounds pretty lucky, doesn't it? Alright, Spirit, what do you want to tell pile 2 about the next 3 months? What grab bag topic do you want to talk to them about? Thank you. Alright, we've got the 4 of Swords. Okay, reverse. Something is coming active that was asleep before. I think that's Fenrir, if I'm not mistaken. Looks like it. From, I believe, Norse mythology, right? 2, 3. I should know. I have a lot of Scandinavian ancestors. Pretty sure that's Fenrir. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. And 5. Okay, let's reveal pile 2. Justice reversed, okay. Three of Wands reversed. There we got the Eight of Cups, but now we got it upright, pile 2. We got movement forward, remember? And the Five of Cups reversed as an outcome. Beautiful. You know what that means, pile 2? It means that this topic, we'll talk about it in a second, leads to you overcoming a time of loss and sorrow. Finally overcoming a sadness. Okay. So looking at this pile 2, for some of you, it might be an extension of the relationships reading, but it might be something different. The marker for what it's referring to in your life is the both the Four of Swords reversed and the Justice reversed cards. That tells me there's something going on in your life right now where something's been kind of asleep or not making much progress. It's been kind of, waiting in the wings, and it also is something that feels unjust. I don't know if you're waiting for something legal to come through, or it could also be like something that's been kind of unfair, and you want things to kind of wake up and move towards more justice for yourself, okay? It's something along those lines. And then we have the Three of Wands reversed as the heart of the matter. That also kind of invokes a feeling of like a lack of movement, because upright it's like she's climbing a ladder, right? She's following her plans, but reverse the Three of Wands is we've got plans, but we feel like we can't move forward with them. Now, I think that Tower moment that we talked about in your relationships part of your reading is part of this, right? Towers bring a lot of forward momentum, even if we think it's kind of chaotic and we're not sure we want to take that magic carpet ride, right? But at the same time, though, forward momentum is good. And it's something that will help you emotionally move on. Because that Eight of Cups was reversed earlier, right? And now it's upright in your third reading. Part of your reading, I should say. And it brings you to happiness, overcoming the sadness of the Five of Cups because it's reversed here as the outcome. So if you've been having anything that feels like it's been going slow, anything that makes it feels like it's been blocking your path, blocking your plans, Spirit wanted to tell you today, pile 2, that is going to finally gain some momentum here with the Eight of Cups and lead to you overcoming a sorrow or a loss. Now, in terms of timing, it's going to be more towards the end of the 3 months, okay? Because you have these 3 cards at the very beginning. It's kind of slow. It's starting to wake up, though, because that's what the Four of Swords reversed means, is something's waking up. Okay, so right now it might start kind of ramping up a little bit, but you're going to have a little bit of a sluggish feel in the interim here, especially with the Three of Wands reversed, especially as you work out the kinks in terms of unfairness or an injustice of some sort, having justice been reversed. But then, boom, towards the end, you got Eight of Cups, I'm moving forward, Five of Cups reversed, I'm happy again, or I've left the loss behind. Okay. So a lot about emotions in these next 3 months too, pile 2. About emotionally moving on. If I had to give you one theme of your next 3 months, it would be emotional momentum. That's what I would tell you as a phrase. Okay, let's grab your just final advice cards for the next 3 months. Yeah, especially if you've had any projects too that feel like they've been going kind of slow and sluggish. This is a really good sign, pile 2. Maybe even at work, or in terms of some sort of personal project that you've been working on. You're like, oh man, this is going so slow. I've got the plans, but it's like the universe just isn't listening. It's going to wake up here soon. It's going to move forward, okay? In the next 3 months or so. I'm going to take this one. And your last advice cards. So, surrender. We have surrender to passion again. Okay, so this is really emphasized because you got it twice, pile 2. I'll read it again really quick. Get out of your head and feel the fire in your belly. Focus on the people or activities that ignite your passion and let it flow. So please, 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 if there's any piece of advice you do take in the next 3 months, invest and follow in your passions. Okay? Don't think so much. Go with your gut a little bit more. Create. Go with that fire that we talked about. Last but not least, we have Restriction. Interesting card. Restriction with joy guides. Okay, so she's almost looks like she's doing like a grounding meditation here. She's got the roots going through the earth. She's sitting in a meditative position. You know what I'm hearing, pile 2? This is a piece of advice overall in the next 3 months. Know your limitations. Know... Oh, what's that common saying people say? It's something like... Something about, like, give me the grace to change what I can and accept what I can't change. It's something along those lines. Someone down in the comments correct me. You know, it's a very common saying. I think it's like, grant me the grace to accept the things that I can't change. Something along those lines. That's what I'm hearing for the next 3 months for you, pile 2, is know your limitations. Like I said, know your restrictions. Know what you can change and what you can't, and what you can't change that's out of your hands, don't feel guilty or liable for, okay? Sometimes things are out of our hands. Sometimes things just need time to kind of brew in the universe, is the word I'm being drawn to use, okay? And sometimes you're invited to enjoy the slower moments, because we do have fast moments in life, like that tower we talked about, but sometimes we have slower moments too. And part of enjoying both of them is noticing one or the other to use as the contrast to identify them. It's kind of like, you know, a good metaphor is like you can't know what light is without dark, and vice versa, right? Same thing with times of slowness versus times of speed, okay? So when you have downtime in the next 3 months, don't see it as a restriction. See it as a time to invest in those passions. Because there might be a time soon, and I'm seeing this for your next 3 months, where things are going to go zip, zip, zip. They're going to speed up. And you might be looking back wishing, oh man, I wish things were kind of slow again, you know? But it's positive too with that forward momentum, but it's kind of just valuing the downtimes too. Valuing when things are slower, okay? And know your restrictions, okay? Your limitations. Also, in terms of meditation, grounding exercises, especially the root chakra, be a great chakra to focus on in the next 3 months as well. So, that was your 3 months ahead reading, pile 2. I hope you liked the format with the 3 mini readings in one. I had fun with it. If it did resonate, which I guess you won't find out until the next 3 months pass, but at least if you liked the video, please like the video itself. Please comment down below. Please subscribe to Lone Pine Tarot if you have not done so yet. Just helps me out a little bit, which helps me provide readings for both you and others in the future. And as is our tradition on the channel, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, pile 2. Hello there, pile number 3. Welcome today to your pick a card reading about the next 3 months ahead, including career, finances, relationships, and a mystery grab bag topic at the end as the third mini reading. Of course, as you can recall, the pile leader you chose was the beautiful Herald with the element of water, and the tagline of small regrets and longing. So let's set that off to the left here to begin, as we usually do with our pile leaders. And we're going to start with career and finances. So using the fish from Lenormand as kind of a sort of mini pile leader, as the fish represents business and money, we'll start the reading with tarot to see the forecast for your career and finances. So Spirit, next 3 months, please, in this category. Thank you. 5 cards for pile 3. And let's unveil the tarot cards. So, sorry, one moment. I was just adjusting my little pencil down here I used to mark the edge of the camera. Very first card, we have the Ace of Swords, new ideas, light bulb moment. That's what I call that card. Excuse me. I apologize in advance if my voice is a bit scratchy today. We do have Queen of Coins. Okay, Queen of Pentacles, beautiful. Looking good for finances so far, pile 3. Page of Swords, also a fantastic card to get. Looking good, looking good. We have the Moon. Okay, so maybe a little bit of something there in terms of illusions, but we'll see what the final outcome card is. Interesting, King of Wands reversed. So let's look at these cards here, pile 3, and I apologize, I'm also just going to take a drink for my voice as I interpret these, so one moment. Okay, now my voice should be clear. So in terms of career and finances in the next 3 months, right now, I think you already have a new idea that you've been considering, or you're very soon about to get a new idea. Like I said, the Ace of Swords tends to represent a light bulb moment, I call it. And it's something that leads to financial success, especially in terms of not so much outside wealth, though that's part of a Queen of Pentacles, pile 3, but a Queen of Pentacles is especially focused on how do we feel internally secure with our money and our finances and our career, okay? So it's a new idea, I think, that will lead to greater feelings of security. Now, that might be different things to many different people. That could mean, something that leads to you making more money, or maybe something that leads to more job longevity. Like, for example, getting a certificate that would make you stand out in your particular job at your particular company, okay? So if you've had any new ideas recently, or you get some very soon, please take them. That's a really, really good sign here to get that Queen of Pentacles after a new ideas card. And 2, you have the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords is the heart of the matter, I like to call the middle card, is a time of someone learning. Sometimes it can be seen as like the educational student card, as Page of Swords can be like a university student, someone taking classes, like I mentioned, certification before, could be one way that manifests. But it also, someone in general, is someone who's exploring new ideas, exploring new ways to think about things. Sometimes it can also mean communication too. So it's a good time to also communicate your ideas to others. I think that would also be very fruitful for you to follow with your career and finances in the next 3 months, okay? Now, what's interesting, though, is at the very end of the next 3 months here, okay? I kind of see like this is the halfway point, so about a month and a half. After the month and a half mark, we have the Moon and the King of Wands reversed. Now, the Moon is all about illusions, things not being what they seem. There's some sort of confusion you might come across with your career and finances at that point in time. And specifically because the King of Wands reversed is right after it, pile 3, that represents, it could either be a person who is a King of Wands reverse, so someone who maybe has some anger issues, someone who speaks passionately but kind of out of turn, someone that's like fire in kind of a bad way, kind of a negative connotation. They might be someone who is kind of casting illusions in your life, or it could also mean a lack of confidence in general, or feeling kind of dismayed in terms of your ambitions, okay? So either look out for someone else who's kind of like those traits I described earlier towards the end here, or look out for those traits in yourself of like lacking, like I said, that ambition or feeling unconfident. Because it's like you start out really, really good with these 3 cards, and then there's some sort of illusion that's cast, and it's like, it's either an illusion cast by that person, that's the King of Wands reversed, or it's your own lack of confidence that kind of casts the illusion itself. So please, if you do run into, I almost want to say imposter syndrome, I think you might be even being like, it's like you're doing so well at something, you get imposter syndrome. You're like, I can't be doing this well, can I? And then that's the illusion cast. And maybe even someone else casts that doubt. So it like doubles the illusion. But please just know, pile 3, when you are doubting yourself with your career and finances in the next 3 months, it's not true. Because someone that is bad at a career or a job or making money would not have gotten these cards in this category, okay? Like, I promise you. So, yeah, see if there's anything else. So just be wary of doubting self in the next 3 months. Be wary of lack of confidence. Be wary of maybe what other people might say that casts illusions over your confidence in your own ability. Because it's not true. That's what the Moon means. It's an illusion. And that should help you through kind of that somewhat tougher end of those 3 months regarding your career and finances. And then, of course, let's pull some oracle cards of advice here as final pieces of advice for your career finances. There we go. And we've got the surrender deck. But yeah, I mean, in terms of looking for like a good financial forecast, that Queen of Pentacles is a pretty good sign, pile 3, okay? especially with internal feelings of security, like I said before. Alrighty, so we have truth. Number 10, unveiling truth, okay? Like I said, like the moon before is illusion. One of the themes of the next 3 months with your career and finances is finding truth through illusions, okay? So please try to objectively see the truth in every situation in this category of your life, okay? What really is real, what's not. And then we also have surrender to what is. What an interesting card for this particular category. Flow with what is instead of fighting it. When you can't change a situation, compassionately accepting it exactly as it is will bring you peace. Okay, so it's kind of a go with the flow piece of advice with your career and finances as well. Yes, be ambitious, follow that idea that we talked about, but also kind of go with the flow. You don't really need to force anything in this area. Go where your heart leads you. Accept it as it is, and that will kind of bring you along like more of a path of peace with this, especially when maybe you do kind of feel that lack of confidence at the end. But also it's a piece of advice to surrender what is in terms of yourself. Like I said, don't fall to imposter syndrome. Okay, view yourself objectively in this area. And remember, above all things, truth. Seek truth with your career and your finances in the next 3 months. Okay, so short and sweet. Let's move on to relationships for the next 3 months. Clear the board. We're going to take the fishies out, and we're going to bring out the tree, which represents family in Lenormand technically, but we're talking about all of your relationships in general, platonic, familial, and potentially romantic, if that is a part of your path right now. Okay, or maybe it will become a part of your path if you're looking for somebody, right? So let's shuffle these cards. We'll put your old cards back in the deck before we do the shuffle. Okay, Spirit, next 3 months. Pile 3, relationships. Thank you. And there's 5. Card number 1. 10 of Swords reversed. Okay. We'll talk about that in a second. Got Justice reversed. All right. Some heavier things with relationships, but don't run away just yet. Hold on. The Chariot. Okay, that's a beautiful card to get for the heart of the matter. Wonderful. Lots of major arcana so far. We'll see if you get more. We have the Three of Wands, also a great card to get. And then last but not least, we've got 5 of Wands. Okay, but at least it wasn't 5 of Swords. 5 of Wands is technically a little bit of conflict, but it tends to be more lighthearted the way I see it versus, say, if you've gotten the 5 of Swords. Okay, so pile 3. In terms of relationships in the next 3 months, the first card kind of represents where you are now or the very beginning of the next 3 months, like we did with career and finances. And the 10 of Swords reversed tends to represent a time of overcoming a betrayal or overcoming what you thought was the end of something. So I don't know if recently you've had a separation with family or a partner or with friends in your life, or because specifically, and this is kind of a gory depiction of it, but the 10 of Swords is someone that was trying to hang on to the side of a boat and someone cut their fingers off as they were trying to hang on to the edge. It's the particular folktale that this particular depiction comes from. It's like someone trying to hold on. That's kind of why it represents betrayal, right? Because trying to hold on, someone cuts off your fingers, oh, you drown, right? But reversed, it's like recovering from that betrayal, recovering from what you thought was the end, okay? And 2, with Justice reversed next to it, it's like there was some injustice involved, some unfairness. I think someone maybe wasn't treating you right, or you got kind of screwed over, or, you know, so the very beginning of the next 3 months with relationships is still kind of emotionally reeling or like dealing with that, okay? But the good news is, pile 3, is you have very positive cards towards the end here. You have the Chariot, which means driving forward with motivation, taking control, and balance too. Sometimes it can mean that as well. At least specifically balance in forward momentum. So you're going to be moving away from kind of the sadness and the unfairness that's at the very beginning here with your relationships, all right? You're going to be also moving forward, right? Not only do we have the Chariot, which is, full speed ahead, hence why it's called a Chariot, right? You also have the Three of Wands, which means taking action on plans that we've made, okay? So if you've been making plans to maybe find a new partner, like maybe this was a fallout from a previous romantic partner and you've been trying to find a new one, this is really, really great, or a great sign, I should say, of making progress in that area. Or same thing too, finding new friends if maybe you follow with other friends, right? Or one particular person. Or same thing with family too. If you're trying to fix family related problems, not so good in the beginning, but later on, month and a half mark, things finally move forward, the channel clears, things can flow. Now, what's interesting is you do have the Five of Wands at the end here as the outcome. That is like a lighthearted conflict. That's kind of like sparring, but it's just like a battle of egos against each other. It's not quite a serious fight, okay? So I think at the very end of the next 3 months, there might be a little bit of a squabble in a group that you're in regarding, friends or family, things like that. But just know at the time when it comes along, it's not a very serious fight, okay? Even if it might seem like it at the time, it's going to be a little bit more lighthearted than you're expecting. It's kind of maybe blow over a lot faster, too, than you're expecting, okay? So lots of forward momentum, a lot of things finally kind of moving forward after a time of sadness and stagnation here at the beginning. And then, it's full speed ahead. And a little bit of a squabble, but it rights itself in the end, okay? I'm going to draw just one extra card for you, pile 3, for the squabble. I kind of want to just know a little bit more about it there at the end, because I think that might also bring you some extra comfort, so don't tell the other piles, but I'm spoiling you with an extra card more than they got, so that's our secret, pile 3. So Spirit for pile 3, tell me more about the squabble, please, at the end. Maybe 1 or 2 cards, see what sticks out. Okay, well, for sure that one we've got the High Priestess, something about gut intuition. And, God, look at all these major arcana, pile 3. Okay, so also, when there's a lot of major arcana in a reading, and I apologize if you watched a lot of my videos before, you know what I'm going to say, but for those of you who are new to the channel, I see a lot of major arcana in a spread, meaning this is kind of a pivotal life moment, right? It's an important part of your life path, and you've got the High Priestess and the Hierophant explaining the squabble. And what that means is there's something to do with either traditions or it's kind of like a battle between going the traditional way with the Hierophant versus what's your gut feeling with the High Priestess, okay? So someone might say, well, this is the way we've always done something. And someone else might say, yeah, but I have a gut feeling that the other way, the new way, is better. It's something along those lines. Okay, so that's the kind of squabble to look out for. That's the more lighthearted one than you're expecting, where it's going to blow over a lot faster and not be as intense as you might expect or think of it at the time that it occurs. Okay? So don't take that one quite as seriously. Just know it's a little bit smoother than you expect. Okay. And then we have your advice cards, of course, from the Oracle decks for your relationships. Okay, that was quite fast. We have Ease. Was the first card that popped out in Ease. And I think pile 2 also got this card, and I'll tell you kind of the same thing I told them. I think it was pile 2, yes. Ease is all about going with the flow, pile 3. Ease is about the grace of flowing with the chaos of life. It's almost like how, she's dancing here, and she's moving along. But she's not fighting the elements around her. She's moving and bending along with them. Okay, so when things do come up, there's always the potential for us to take what is thrown at us by the universe with grace and do it as a dance rather than, I guess what's the other example opposite of a dance? I don't know. A flinch, I guess. So when things come up in your relationships in the next 3 months, one piece of advice is to try to go with the flow a little bit more. Dance with the curveballs, okay? Try to accept them as they are. And you got 2 surrender cards here. Perfect. Go with the flow as they are, because they might be leading to better things than you're expecting, even if they seem like curveballs you don't want to deal with at first. Okay, that's what I'm being told to tell you. Surrender to trust. Trust yourself and your decisions. Don't be swayed by other people's strong opinions about what to do. Okay, that's that squabble, I'm telling you. Trust yourself. That's what the High Priestess means. So that's an indication, pile 3, when that squabble comes up, follow your gut. And do as much as you can to try to convince other people to follow your gut when that squabble comes up, because I think you've got the right idea. Okay? Don't be swayed by other people's strong opinions about what to do. Take action and be confident that you have chosen the right path. Also, in terms of just overall in the next 3 months with your relationships, pile 3, trust yourself. Trust your gut. Follow your gut. Okay? And that will also lead you well alongside the go with the flow message. And then the second surrender card that popped out is surrender your fear of change. The universe is reminding you that you are cared for always. Whether you're afraid of a change in your job, your health, or a relationship, or if you fear aging or death, repeat the affirmation, I have faith that all is well. So that's just like that go with the flow message, pile 3. So I apologize if it's a bit repetitive, but it's very similar. It's about going with the flow of change. You are cared for always. I have faith that all is well. So those are affirmations maybe you should repeat to yourself regarding your relationships. Like I said with the squabble, like you might feel like, oh, it's this big scary thing at the very end here. Take a deep breath. I have faith that all is well. Okay. Also embrace change in your relationships in the next 3 months. Even if it seems scary. The change is for the better. Because like it said, and I'll repeat it one more time. The universe is reminding you that you were cared for always. Change is always for a reason. And trust your gut. Trust the universe. And remember to dance with the curveballs. Okay, so once again, short and sweet, that was the second section of your reading today, relationships. Let's now move on to the mystery grab bag topic. We'll see what pops up. Now, other piles today tended to get kind of extensions of another part of their reading. We'll see if you technically get like an extension of relationships or career or finances, or you might get a third topic completely brand new entirely. So we'll see what comes through. Okay. Get the cards back in there and give a nice shuffle. Oh, let's switch that out. To represent the grab bag, we have the clover in Lenormand, which means luck happening upon things. Just like clovers technically usually mean, right? Okay, Spirit, what grab bag topic do you want to talk about for the next 3 months? What do you want to give them a heads up about? And 5. Okay. 10 of Cups reversed. Okay, so there's some sort of sadness going on in your life right now, pile 3, that Spirit wants to talk about. That it seems to have some sort of message about the next 3 months. Especially in terms of relationships. 10 of Cups reversed can mean like a romantic relationship that maybe you've noticed has not been doing so well recently, or close platonic relationship too, or just in general, whatever happily ever after means to you. It's like, it feels like right now at your life there's something that you're not attaining in this area that's been kind of upsetting you. But then we have Judgment. Judgment, level up card. Beautiful. Ace of Pentacles reversed. The Empress. Oh, lots of major arcana. And the Knight of Cups reversed. Okay, so this grab bag topic is interesting. Pile 3. I think this is kind of a new topic. You're not getting an extension reading like the others in terms of like what their grab bag topic was. Yes, okay, so like I said, they're referring to some sort of situation where you have been unhappy with that 10 of Cups reversed. It was something that you thought would make you happy, but it didn't turn out well, especially in terms of like either your heart or relationships. However, there's going to be a lot of growth in this area in the next 3 months. You have the Judgment card up next, and Judgment, pile 3, like I said when it popped out, is the level up card in the way that I describe it. It's about moving up. It's about moving to the next class in terms of skill, in terms of spiritual development, in terms of just in general movement and forward momentum in life, okay? You're going to be learning a lot spiritually from what this was, or what's going on right now, okay? You're going to be learning a lot. However, in the middle, with the month and a half mark or so, you have the Ace of Pentacles reversed also as the heart of the matter. And what that means is a lack of opportunity, especially in terms of what we can physically do about things, being Pentacles, which is the earth element, right? So it's almost like you're going to be just miring a lot in this spiritual development and all this thinking about this unhappiness that you have, okay? And you're going to lack opportunity at first about what to do about it, okay? And that's kind of the point in pile 3, because Spirit wants you to think about this a little bit longer. They want you to have this time to reflect more on it. But then, boom, you have the Empress. Times of fertility, times of creativity, times of nurturing. Okay, and that's why this opportunity is kind of being withheld. So at the time, don't get too frustrated, because there's a reason for the opportunity being withheld from you. Because it's giving it time to grow under the soil like a seed. Sometimes it just takes time. I mean, you can't water a seed and put fertilizer on it and immediately, poof, there comes a flower. Things need to kind of cook a little bit. Let the universe cook, okay? As we would say. And so it's a time of that idea, kind of like that level up spiritual growth, kind of really growing, really becoming fertile, strong, things like that. However, at the end, you do have the Knight of Cups reversed, which means a lack of action in terms of your emotions. So the things that you feel are really passionate about in terms of like can be relationships or your feelings. So Spirit is saying at the very end of these 3 months with this spiritual development after the unhappiness, you still might not get the opportunity yet to do something about this new found spiritual understanding, okay? Because it requires courage for you to take action. A Knight of Cups reversed is someone that doesn't feel quite confident enough yet to take action on something they're feeling. But that's okay, pile 3, because sometimes in life we need to kind of stew a little bit. We need to kind of let things age and kind of reflect on them a little bit more. So when it comes to your spiritual growth in the next 3 months, when it comes to what you realize is what is happiness and what is not, don't be upset if there isn't forward momentum yet, because it just needs time to grow. And then when you are ready, you can turn that Knight of Cups right side up and take action on it. But I don't think, based at least on this trajectory, that there will be action on it yet quite at the end of the 3 months. Now, it might happen 4 months from now, right? So don't be surprised if you're doing a lot of rethinking and thinking about what does happiness mean to you? What does a happy relationship mean to you in the next 3 months, okay? What does a happy friendship look like to you? Asking yourself those questions. And then your advice cards, look at that growth. Remember I was talking about with that Empress, about the seed underneath the ground needing to nurture things? So you're also doing a lot of, social. Maybe you are doing social growth, pile 3, but spiritual growth in the next 3 months. So actually your bonus reading is like spiritual development type reading, okay? So really focus on growing, focus on nurturing things, really embody. If you're not familiar with tarot, do a lot of study on the Empress card and what that means, okay? And embody the Empress card is kind of your guiding card. It even just reminds me of the Judgment card, because look, she's like moving up towards the light. Yeah, you're going to do a lot of growing in the next 3 months, pile 3, for the better. And then we have surrender to inner peace, cultivate inner peace on a daily basis. In quiet meditative moments, focus on the stillness within and enjoy this inner refuge. Others will feel your good vibes too, and your life will flow more easily. Okay. Meditate a little bit more. That will also help you with the spiritual development that Spirit is particularly picking out for you. Okay, meditate. Especially, grounding meditations would be great, pile 3. I'm also hearing something about crown chakra meditations for some reason. Okay. Also, sometimes there are guided meditations that lead you, and this sounds kind of weird, pile 3, but I'm being told to tell you something about guided meditations that guide you through visualizations of flying. Okay. And I say that because of all these oracle cards. They're both just like flying up into the air. Flying visual meditations. I think that will also help you with this spiritual growth. For some reason, don't ask me why, that's what I'm being told to tell you. Okay, so look at you leveling up in the next 3 months, pile 3. And remember to cultivate that inner peace when you can. You're going to do well. All right, so that was your 3 months ahead reading, pile 3. I hope it was helpful. I hope it was, it resonated. I guess you kind of find that out as the 3 months go ahead. You don't know quite yet how things will pan out, right? But in any case, if you did like the video, please like the video itself. Please comment down below. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so yet, as it helps me out a little bit, which helps me provide more readings for you and others in the future. And as is our tradition on Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, pile 3.